Yo, what's good, YouTube? What's good? It's Stormybman, and I am back welcoming you to the post-fight show with Stormybman for this Saturday, June 25th, 2022. And this was the card that featured Jesse Rodriguez versus Serikat Runvisai as the main event and headliners. The fight just finished and wrapped up with a scintillating ending, and we are here to talk about it. Very good fight card that was featured on the Dazn app. I want to say welcome to everybody out there that's joining, those that catch us on replay, those that are coming in late. They're still interviewing Jesse Bam Rodriguez, who was victorious with a thrilling 8th round stoppage over Runvisai. We're going to talk about that fight right away, and we're going to talk about the card a little bit, and just overall speak on what was pleasing about this card. I want to say shout out to my brother KQKC Boxing Network, who did another wonderful call on this card this evening. There was so much action here that it's very funny to see when you have a young fighter who has ability and a veteran fighter that poses a threat. And we talk about legacy fights. We talk about the passing of a baton, the passing of eras and reigns as far as who's on top. We saw that right away in this fight tonight. A lot of people felt like this might be a little bit of a task for Rodriguez, being the youngest champion in the sport of boxing today. And he is coached and trained by Robert Garcia out of the famous Garcia camp. But I'll tell you, people, that Rodriguez fought valiantly. He utilized skills and ring generalship that a young fighter of his ilk is supposed to. And he made Runvisai look like the old man that he is in there. And that's not to take anything away from Jesse, because as the fight moved on, you had a chance to see the separation, and you could see actually Runvisai breaking down mentally as the fight progressed, because he didn't have the answers for this young man. Yeah. So with everybody that's coming into the building, please smash that like button. We're going to do a quick roll call. Try to acknowledge some of the people that's in the building with us right now. Okay. Chi-Town Finest, salute to him. He said he's got to get off early to work. He'll catch the replay. William Old School is out there. Appreciate you, William, stopping in. Mike Biggs Boxing is in the building. Who else we got? Let's see. Trying to catch up on this. I can only go back up so far, but maybe if I pull my other screen up, I might have a little more success with checking out who's in our chat this evening. See if I can do it this way. No, it's not gonna let me go up any higher than that. Okay, well, we got MPWTF out there. I served 88. Eric O in the building. Rob Sportsman Lee with us. DJ Midge is out there. Got a fly flying around here. What's up with that? PGH Big Dog in the building. What's good with you? JMJ 2121 out there. And everybody else is saluting one another. Yeah, so the Bam Man pulled it out this evening, man. He did something that I was trying to articulate about when Shakur Stevenson faced Oscar Valdez. This young man turned the heat up when he saw that he had the separation between he and Runvisai. He turned the heat up. He began to give those angles, put more heat on the punches, and overwhelmed Runvisai. He got a knockdown in the 7th round. It may have been a knockdown earlier in the fight that they called a slip. I don't know. I didn't get a chance to catch that replay because I was getting set up for the show. But in the 8th round, he stopped Runvisai with a barrage that looked very much like what I wanted to see from Shakur against Valdez. When you know that you have provided separation between you and the opponent, it is then after that time to turn the heat up and get rid of him. Man, this fly is flying around here. He's giving me the flux. Anyway, yeah, separation. What I really loved about Rodriguez is that he was so confident in what he was capable of. It was almost like watching Kobe Bryant when Kobe was a young basketball player and he was in the NBA and he knew he was good, but he wanted to show certain players, certain teams that he faced, that he belonged, and he was ready to do his thing. You know, sometimes at that point where you would say, hey, let the game come to you. But when someone has potential for greatness, you can't hold those horses back. You sometimes have to just let them go. Though Robert Garcia and the Garcia training family are behind this young man, his talent, it appears to go maybe a little bit above what they do normally, because he has something that some of the Garcia fighters haven't had. He has a combination of not just the technical capability, the confidence in himself and willingness to show and prove even at his young age. Ring IQ, ring generalship, and that whole thing, that's the wherewithal, when to know to step it up, when to know to put on the gas. He was very defensively responsible early in the fight. And by the time he began to take the risk necessary for the completion that he was able to achieve, he had already laid the groundwork. Beautiful performance by Bam Rodriguez this evening. Can't take anything away from that young man. I loved it. So, you know, hats off to him for what he was able to do. His jab was great. His angles were great. How he was able to punch and end up on Runvisai's blind side, taking his vision away from him, because he was thinking that the guy was going to stand in front of him, and Rodriguez didn't stand in front of him, even when there was an illusion of he possibly being in front. He was like stepping over and boom, he's out of punching view. Great stuff by him. Great stuff. And when fighters exhibit that, you have to give acknowledgement to it. The coaches don't do it for you. You're doing it yourself. You're out there making it happen. Salute to Demon Kennedy out there in that super chat with the donation. He says that keep dropping jewels, Stormy B. I appreciate you, Demon Kennedy. Appreciate you. Salute to Kwee. I see you out there. Came into the building using those channel emojis. Loving that. D-Midge said, I'm only here for 10 minutes, then off to bed. He says, what a great fight. Yes, sir. He says, I think it's time for bed for me. We'll see y'all soon. D-Ray Promotions in the building. Appreciate you, D-Ray, showing up. Yeah. So Rodriguez pulled out all the tools as well as far as his punches. There were jabs. Very good snapping jab. His straight power punch off of the jab was great. He even knew how to come out of that on an angle so he wouldn't be there for a receipt. Runvisai was overwhelmed tonight. Youth had a lot to do with it because you just can't teach that with those reflexes. But hey, he signed the contract. He signed up for that fight. We're not making any excuses here. You have to give the credit to where credit goes. Garcia Camp was ready. Runvisai was not. And I will tell you, there are going to be more victories like this for this young man, because every time in boxing, when you have young fighters like this and they have these type of performances, don't forget when he won the title, it gave him a little bit more confidence in his abilities. And then one of the first things he did was step up to one of the monsters in the division, one of the veteran monsters in the division, a so-called boogeyman in Runvisai. And by taking him on and defeating him the way that he did, what type of level of confidence do you think he has now? Huh? This is why fighters have to challenge themselves. When you have the success, it brings more confidence. The more confidence you have, the more willing you will be to take on challenges. I respect that 1,000%. 1,000%. That's the way it should be done. Shakers and Dice is out there saying salute to Stormy and the family. Salute to you. Teach says, thanks for the breakdown. I did not watch any boxing today. Well, you missed some good boxing today, Teach. You know, good fights. And they were, they weren't barn burners, but very good boxing. One of the things that you could see also in this fight was that Rodriguez was up for the challenge. His energy was on 10. You have to like that. I think Robert was more concerned than Jesse was. And that's okay from time to time. That's okay. Because you need a charge that is going to go out there and make you sometimes sit back and say, wow, that's my kid. That's my boy there. I like it. You know? And that's what he did tonight. He was able to perform at a very high level, putting those other fighters on notice. Estrada, Chocolatito. You guys got to look to the hills now. You know, Runvisai out of 8 rounds didn't take a round. And when you're getting hit as clean as he was getting hit, eventually that granite chin or solid chin or whatever they call it begins to get cracks. And that's what it was. By the time the ref stepped in to stop that fight, Runvisai looked like he had been surrounded. Yeah. Great stuff, man, by Bam Rodriguez. Great stuff. Hats off to him. Congratulations on the victory. In the co-main event, we had MJ Akhmadaliev taking on Ronnie Rios in a fight that was action-packed for the WBA and IBF Super Bantamweight title, held by MJ Akhmadaliev. Akhmadaliev, the young gentleman who wears that military tam in the ring, you know, he's a very strong fighter at that weight. And he has scored some knockouts, broken people down, and comes in fearless. But Ronnie Rios is a fighter who had figured to test him a little bit. And he did, but only sporadically. On his way to a 12th round TKO, which saw him hurt his hand. They say that MJ hurt his hand earlier in the fight. So he took a few rounds where he wasn't throwing it with the power that he was because he was concerned about hurting it worse. Rios would have moments in the fight where he was boxing very well, but then he would let MJ come back and take the play away from him. And as in a round that I'm starting to get ready to give him, he give the round up. And then he had a couple of terrible moments in the fight where he just let MJ hit him to the body and everything, and he did the old Keith Thurman thing, covering up and cowering while his body was hurt, trying to protect himself, nearly going down. But he did finally go down in the 12th, and he couldn't recover. Fighters like that, they fight just good enough to lose. You wonder what's on their minds. Because, like I said, there were several rounds where he was doing very good, and then he gave the round away. I don't know if that's a lack of focus, a lack of confidence, but I saw it. But at no point in that fight did Akhmadaliev feel like he wasn't going to win. He's a champion. And it would be great to see him maybe and Stephen Fulton get it on, you know. But Rios was not ready for this task on this evening. There was just something missing there with him. He had ability. He could have won rounds. I think I ended up giving him 2 rounds, but it could have been a wash for MJ. He just didn't perform up to snuff. And he's probably going to go back and watch the films of this fight and be like, man, you know, if I had just done this, or, you know. And those are the type of things that coaches and trainers are supposed to be able to see, and, you know, from the corner during the rounds. There was one round I was for certain going to give him. Might have been 6. And in the last 40 seconds of the fight, or the round, of last 50 seconds, he just stopped doing what he was doing successfully and just let MJ come on and take the round away from him. I was like, come on, man, what are you doing? It was crazy watching that, you know? Salute to G5 Gabe, fell into the building, and Black Ham TV. I see you guys out there. Black Ham says smash the like button. Yes, sir. Please smash the like button as you come in. Just a bad performance by Rios. Like I said, they're going to go back to the drawing board and they're going to look at the films of this fight and they say, you know what? We had chances on the table. And all you could ask for is to have an opportunity. And to see that slip away like that, it's unfortunate. But that's why there's levels to this. Mike Biggs Boxing out there, saluting G5. Teach is asking, how was the performance? Would he give Cool Boy a tough fight after tonight's performance? Listen, a fighter like MJ Akhmadaliev, he's a tough SOB, man. Steve is better technically, has skill sets and athleticism that may keep him in good places. But in a 12-round fight, and a fighter as tough and strong as Akhmadaliev, Steve at some point is going to have to show some grit. Unless he's laying hands on him so well, like similar to what Bam Rodriguez was able to do to Runvisai. But the difference is Runvisai was 37 to Bam's 22 or whatever. And Akhmadaliev, I don't think he's 37. I didn't really look at their ages on his fight, but he's fresher. He's fresher. But Fulton could definitely outbox. It'd be worth tuning in. It's a good fight. Good fights against quality fighters, sometimes those intangibles can come into play and you just don't know. MP says, facts. William says, Stormybman, I'm watching a replay of Mayweather and Pacquiao on ESPN. Man, to hell with ESPN right now. I'm not feeling them guys. They are trash. Spoke about that last night. There's nothing about that network that I like. Forget that. Okay, Jason, you say he's 27. So that's different, right? That's a lot. That's 10 years removed from 37, like Runvisai. And like I said, he's had stoppages, so it's like not a lot of wear and tear in that sense of going distances. Salute to Sheena out there saluting me with the channel emojis. Appreciate you stopping in, Sheena. It's all good. So yeah, I would love to see a fight with Fulton and MJ. It's a quality matchup. I would favor Fulton, but you couldn't count MJ out. Man. And in the pre-fight before the co-main, we had the unified women's welterweight championship on the line from the undisputed champion at welterweight, my homegirl, Jessica McCaskill from Chicago, from the Chi. Yeah. Taking on, what's the lady's name? Her last name is Ibarra. She's from Mexico. Unfortunate that this match ended like it did. It saw the two ladies really rumbling for 3 rounds, even toppling to the canvas at one point. There was a lot of wrestling, tying up by Ibarra because she couldn't handle the whirlwind activity from McCaskill, who was wading in like a female shrunken down version of Mike Tyson. She was lighting her up with haymakers, man, and all types of physical aggression. And Miss Ibarra didn't want any more of it. She was actually arguing with her trainer at the end of the 3rd round, between round 3 and 4. She didn't want to go back out there. She said she just wanted to go home. That's what she told her trainer. He had put her mouthpiece back in her mouth, and she was like, no, I don't want it. McCaskill took her heart. Whatever competitive juices that she had dried up after that 3rd round. McCaskill can do that to someone because she has a competitive edge that is similar to some of the other champions that I've seen in the sport. In the women's side of things, a fighter like Clarissa Shields has that type of aggression. Alicia Baumgardner has that. Amanda Serrano has that. McCaskill likes to fight, man. She likes to rumble. And for such a pretty young woman, it's like you can confuse that and think like, oh, she's cute, nice looking girl, but man, she will knock your head off. I guess she's got that hot blood. Somebody said earlier in KQ's chat, they said that she's black and Mexican, so she's got that hot blood, But she's channeling it in the right sport, man, where she can get in there and go upside somebody's head. She's a very physical fighter, too. She likes that physical aspect of it. Not just banging somebody with the power punches, but them being physical back with her. She kind of relishes that, like, come on, bring it. Yeah, challenge me. I had remarked in KQ's chat, I said, the way she fought this woman tonight, if I had a chance to work with her, I think I could make her about 20% better than what she performed this evening. Especially if she wants to go out there in an aggressive manner, a la a Mike Tyson type style. Peekaboo, because what she was doing was she was loading up with the shots and following through with everything, but there was no leverage on it. There was no slip and spring into the shots. There was no doubling up with the shots. The shots needed to be a little bit shorter, and they needed to have a different follow-up in combination sequence. Like when she was bombing with the right, she would fall over into the shot without being able to throw something behind it because too much momentum was trajected while she was bombing with the big shot. But the intent was there. You can't get that out of a lot of fighters, even male fighters. And had she been throwing combinations and focusing on the body first, that young lady not only would have probably went out the same way, but might have fallen out of there. But hats off to McCaskill for winning, because she is one hell of a champion. And she is 37 years old in this sport. You have to salute her for what she's doing. She's got 2 losses on her record, but she's the kind of fighter that's exciting. She brings excitement to the ring. And sometimes that's all you ask for, Teach says, I saw a clip at the end of that fight. I was confused why she quit. When they came together in one of those rounds, I think it might have been that 3rd round, if not the 2nd round. Might have been the 3rd. They went to the canvas. They fell down. And it almost looked like Jessica pulled her down to the canvas because she was holding and hugging so much that Jessica was trying to drive home the point. Even on the floor, I'm gonna whoop your tail. And I like that, because it's a fight, baby. And she was making it rough. Ibarra didn't want that. And Jessica was not going to allow her to hold and mug and clinch and clutch for 10 rounds. No. So she looked for the option out in between rounds. And the trainer wasn't trying to get her to quit. He was trying to get her to go back out there for another round. But she yelled at him, no, I just want to go home. Yeah. Sheena says, I was shocked when I Googled her age. She looks much younger than 37. Yeah, those are good genes there, huh? I swear she looks like she could be a daughter of one of my old classmates from grade school. Yeah. But McCaskill is the real deal, man. I don't know if she's going to find a noteworthy challenger. Don't know. But I'm loving her performance. I'm loving how she represents. I love when she is, on the Dazn cards where she's doing commentary, because she speaks from a clear point of view of experience, and her takes are not very common. I like what she's doing in the sport. Can't wait to see her again, because she didn't get much work tonight. Maybe she could get another fight in before the end of the year. But what a champion. Smash that like button, people. It says we got 34 likes, but have almost 40 people watching. So got a few people out there just peeping, huh? Again, we talk about that, peeping through the blinds in the bushes. Why are you hanging around and you don't want to support, man? Why is that? Winston Lee is out there saying, let's go. Jessica McCaskills, Chicago's own. That's right. That's right. And then in the first fight of the evening on that card, you had Raymond Ford, featherweight, taking on Richard Medina. Now, this was a fight that it was supposed to be a step up for Ford because it was 10-rounder. And Medina was supposed to be someone who could take it a little bit and maybe press Ford. But it turned out to be another one of those matches where a gifted athletic fighter like Ford could pretty much have his way. And Medina was not looking to take risks in that fight. And that's unfortunate because Ford just was better. And it became mundane because each round was like the previous round. He was just tattooing the guy, banging on him, scoring, securing the rounds. Salute to Winston Lee out there saying, peace, big bro Stormy. Peace to you. Appreciate you. So at featherweight, Ford is going to need more challenges. He's going to need someone that can challenge and press him a little bit more than what Medina was able to do. But I want to take it back to the Rodriguez-Runvisai fight for a moment. I want to know, by a show of hands out there in the chat, how many of you out there understood what I meant when I was comparing Shakur Stevenson's victory over Oscar Valdez to Bam Rodriguez's performance over Runvisai tonight? Please put like a thumbs up or a 1 in the chat if you understand. If you don't understand or agree, put a 2 in the chat. Because when Shakur Stevenson fought Nakatila, and Tim Bradley and Andre Ward were saying that that performance was something that they felt like he should have taken more risk in the fight. I argued in favor of Shakur's performance that not only did he win every round against a guy who was allegedly a dangerous puncher, but he put the guy on the canvas twice. But against Oscar Valdez, he seemed just content with beating Valdez each round, knowing that he was the better guy, knowing that Valdez couldn't do anything. Okay, let me go back. You guys are asking me. William says I didn't understand too. No, I was saying, like, if you understood what I meant when I was saying that my criticism of Shakur against Valdez was, put on display of what Rodriguez did against Runvisai. In other words, Runvisai was being outclassed. Rodriguez could have chosen to beat him and beat up on him all night long. He didn't do that. He turned the heat up on Runvisai, and when he saw an opportunity, he took him out. Shakur could have did that to Valdez, but he didn't do that. He was just content with winning the rounds. And I do believe that had he turned that heat up on Valdez and stopped him, that would have been much more for him going forward in his career. And I was asking, did you guys understand the comparison? Put a 1 or a thumbs up if you did, or put a 2 if you didn't. Now, Shakur still won. Yes, wonderful. He's a unified champion now. But that's what I was trying to say a few weeks ago or a couple months ago now, that when he fought Oscar Valdez, that's what he didn't do that I wanted him to do. Bam Rodriguez seemed to understand that. And I don't think that not Mikey, but I don't think that Robert Garcia had to push that on him. That kid wants to be a great fighter. Yeah. Williams said that the ladies are showing that they have some great fighters as well. The women are setting their own pace, and hopefully their pay goes up as appreciation for what they are accomplishing. Hey, man. The ladies are kicking the door of boxing wide open, man. You have to take a peek and watch these women. This is no longer Christy Martin beating up on, novice boxers and fighters. Some of these women are battling, man. It's a tug of war in there. And they seem to enjoy it. Fighters like Ebony Bridges, the blonde bomber, tough as nails, man. Even though she get her butt beat, she ready to go right back in there. Smiling on her pictures with her black eye. William says, Valdez looked like he was ready to stop a couple of times during the fight. I said the same thing that night. If Shakur would have turned the heat up, he could have stopped Valdez. That should have been the mindset, William. Heavy Bag, a.k.a. Heavy, says Shakur should have boxed Valdez and stopped him. I agree. Shakur in the early fight had already outclassed Valdez. Yeah. I mean, go back and play back this fight tonight with Bam and Runvisai, and you'll see exactly the formula of how you need to do it. That's exactly how you do it, man. There came a point where he was the quicker, faster, younger fighter. Then he was scoring these shots. Then he was confusing the other fighter. And when you're able to hit him at will and give angles and ain't catching nothing back, then it's time to step it up. It's time to, get ready to turn the lights out. And that's what Shakur didn't do. And I didn't like that. And I don't want anybody to take it like, oh, Stormy just coming down on Shakur. No, that's not what I'm doing at all. Because he could have done that to Oscar. He just didn't do it. But when you see this kid perform tonight, and he did it without being pressed to have to do it or whatever, then you understand that some people get it right away. Maybe Shakur will get it next time out. I don't know. But it's important to be able to put those things together like that. It's important. William says Ebony Bridges can beat me up anytime. I bet she can, right? Yeah, buddy. Smash the like button. So yeah, those were the fights tonight on Dazn. Very entertaining. We'll have to see what's next in store, but we've seen some good fights over these past few months, man, since the first of the year, really. You have to take your hat off to the fighters that have performed, admirably and done the things that they've done. But yeah, I'm not going to keep you guys any later. The fights ended earlier tonight for a change. This is kind of usually the time that I would be going on for a post fight, or about a half hour from now when they've got these long cards and it's drawn out. But that's pretty much my thoughts on everything. I appreciate all of you coming out, to listen to what I had to say on it. Smash that like button on your way in and out. Thanks, William. Appreciate you, man. I always appreciate you coming out to support me, man. One of the things about William, boy, he will be there to show support for me, and you don't know how much that means. We got the post-fight show coming. The post-fight. We got the call-in show coming tomorrow morning, where we can roll into some of this subject a little more. But hey, man, it is what it is. But we'll get on up out of here. And you guys have a great night. Have a great Sunday. And we'll catch you on the next one. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. And we gone. I appreciate you as well, Sheena. Thank you. And it doesn't matter that you were late as long as you were here. Or catch the replay. Yeah, that's right, William. Us oldies, man, we got to stick together. Profile 598 says, another great show. Thanks. First time I'm seeing you out there in the chat. I appreciate the compliment. Appreciate the support. But yeah, we out of here.
Mm-hmm.